The Association of British Climbing Walls has been around for years, running the nuts and bolts of many of our climbing walls all around the country. But it's only in recent years that they've started to run big events like this, showcasing the best of our industry. We've had a look around the show and seen some interesting things that might be in a climbing wall near you soon. You might recognise EP from the Tokyo Olympics, but actually EP's been around in construction of climbing walls for over 30 years. We've got Jack here from EP. Jack, give us an insight. Tell us what you've seen in the last 5 years. What sort of have been the big developments?
It's been interesting to see the introduction of more multi-gym spaces, dedicating space not just for climbing surface and making sure that there's enough space for people that are maybe looking to climbing as a sort of gym alternative, as well as being a space for community and bigger social spaces, bigger communal spaces where you can sit down, have a coffee, do some work, catch up with old mates. And yeah, I think that's been really noticeable in the modern centres, is how we allocate that space for climbing, community, gym, yoga, meeting rooms.
Obviously we had old style walls where people just went in to train, but what are the things that EP do in modern design to sort of make those spaces more appealing? Is there sort of special ways of laying out space, or what have you seen more of?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting with how auto belays have taken off in climbing walls. Most rope centres now have auto belays, and I think it's a great way of just getting people onto the wall. You don't need a belay partner. Brilliant for group facilitation, really nice induction to the sport even. And with advancements in technology, we've now got the IQ Plus, which is a stop and hold auto belay.
Yeah, so you were saying that to me. You were saying that you've got an auto belay device that you can work a route on, so it doesn't just, as soon as you jump off, I guess it doesn't just lower you to the ground.
That's right, yeah.
It holds you in front.
Yeah, so it can work as a normal auto belay, so you climb up, let go, and it lowers you down. Or there's a button at the bottom, which is here, and you tap that, you start climbing. When you fall off, it will hold you for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. You can select how long it holds you, and then you can go and carry on the route. So it's great for projecting routes, basically.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
good tech.
Yeah, I know. Interesting times ahead.
Next time you walk into your local climbing wall, it might be worth having a think how long it takes to make a hold like this. Here on the core climbing stand, we've just been told that these holds took 8 to 9 months to carve the shape. That's pretty insane. Something else that's really caught our eye on this stand is these holds here. These are a creation of Burden of Dreams, which was the first Font 9A ever climbed. They're an exact replica, a scan, and then created as a climbing hold. That's pretty insane tech. Hey Drew, so there's loads of climbing holds here at the ABC show, and loads of route sayers and loads of wall owners. So why is everyone here? What are they looking for in climbing holds?
First and foremost, new product is always a good thing. You know, you can always see holds on the internet, on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, but to actually see them in person and sort of have a feel of them and see the production quality. Different materials as well, so some of the holds will be made out of polyester, some polyurethane, fiberglass, a whole different range of stuff. Comfort is quite often a big factor, so the shape of a hold, is it comfortable? Sometimes they can be quite sharp, which you don't want obviously, and the good quality brands tend to avoid this.
What, you mean loads of minging crimps on a comp wall? It's
Yeah,
not
anymore.
Thing.
Those days are gone. Although I reckon it might come back. But what you'll notice is some of the holds are dual texture. Some are made out of fiberglass. We've got different kind of plastics like polyurethane, and some's polyester. Wall owners or hold buyers are looking for things that are comfortable. Versatile is a big thing.
So how much would something like this cost? If I walked up to my local climbing wall and I grabbed hold of some of these holds, are they 20 quid or are they 100 quid?
No, I mean, it depends what you want. It's obviously more cost effective to buy things in sets, but I mean, you could spend easily a few £100s on a hold these days. But, the materials, the production quality, the time that goes into them, it's different now than it used to be, so yeah.
Fun fact, a medium-sized British climbing wall, say like the Climbing Works, has about 20,000 holds. That means the climbing hold industry got big. Rich, you're the owner of the Climbing Academy, and you have walls in Bristol and up in Glasgow as well, so you have multiple walls. So what have you sort of seen progress in climbing walls and in sort of indoor climbing specifically over the last few years?
I think the growth in bouldering is obvious, and that's probably what the vast majority of new walls are. But I think in the last couple of years we've seen some mixed walls start to be built. Obviously there's a problem finding sites for that, but I think that's going to be the next phase of growth, is how do we start to bring back into the modern builds and the modern style some lead walls that can provide that full pathway from bouldering through to rope climbing.
So lead walls is obviously something that might be sort of on the horizon for our British climbing walls. Is there anything that you can see that will sort of come in over the next sort of like 5-10 years that are sort of going to be big sort of game changers or stuff that people are going to start enjoying that doesn't exist anymore?
Well, not so much in the facilities, because I think we've got really good facilities now. We've got big wall companies who know how to build fantastic facilities. I think what we'll see in the UK is the advent of private equity coming into the business. So we'll see walls built with much more money, whereas in the past 15 years ago we were all scratching around borrowing money to build a wall for £300,000 or £400,000. We'll now see walls that are being built at multi-million pound costs, and they will have gyms, they will have yoga studios, they will have offices where people can come and hot desk, they'll have lead walls, bouldering walls, and there'll be whole big leisure facilities. But that will be driven by private equity money coming into the business, because the business can't generate enough cash on its own to invest at that kind of rate.
Hey Tom, so over the last few years we've definitely seen you and Pete, aka the Wideboyz, taking on lots of outdoor challenges. But why am I holding a Wideboyz volume? Are you in climbing walls now?
We are, but the thing is, you're missing one half of the equation. So these two go together like this. And what we've done is try to take the outdoor crack indoors and just use really comfy, nice to use materials. And we feel like crack climbing is just going through a revolution in terms of being accessible, fun, and relevant to climbing.
Brilliant. So do you think crack climbing has a place in indoor walls in the future and sort of like over the next few years?
Jakob Schubert, funnily enough, asked that question, and he came to the wrong answer, which is it has got a place, and it most definitely is going to be indoor walls. You're definitely going to see it around more and more.
Did I mention there was a lot of climbing holds?